Bad Boys for Life is an action comedy starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as two aging police officers who must saddle up for one last ride as they hunt down a killer who has ties to Will Smith's past. As always, we're going to be talking spoilers in this review, so if you want to go in fresh, turn back now. Right off the bat, the thing that worked best for me in this film is the levity between Smith and Lawrence's characters. Their relationship is what makes these movies soar, and Lawrence in particular proves he still has the goods when it comes to making people laugh. And you will laugh. This may just be the funniest Bad Boys movie yet. Using their age as a frame of reference in this movie helps pile on dozens of jokes about their usefulness in this day and age, and it works really well. And it helps that it's not at the expense of the millennial characters and using them as a joke board to undermine them as characters. So that was good to see. This is also a movie that Star Wars Episode 9 can learn a lot from, like how to use fan service sparingly and properly. Returning characters like the exasperated Chief and Reggie, Lawrence's daughter's boyfriend, are used perfectly in this movie to add to the story instead of propelling the story. Take notes, Star Wars. But it's when we get to the action that this movie wavers. Now, it's not terrible, but it's not particularly great either, especially in this day and age when we have movies like Mission Impossible going above and beyond to create real practical chases that wow and astound us. It just leaves sequences like the motorcycle chase and helicopter finale make them seem bland and uninspired, and the CGI in some of these scenes take you right out of the film. The one that got me the most was the obviously fake as shit gunshots Mike Lowry received to kickstart this whole affair. There's also a huge twist towards the end of this movie that seems to have taken many people out of this film, and while I understand that, for me, it totally worked. It could help that I was never a big fan of the Bad Boys franchise, so I don't really give a shit about whatever ridiculous plot points they throw at us, but I'm a sucker for outlandish twists if done right, and here, it felt right. Towards the end of the movie, we learn that the villains of the piece are Lowry's old flame from his undercover days and his long-lost son, who he didn't even know existed. It's just the type of Ludicrous needed for this film. No, not that one. My only complaint about the villains is the use of the old flame. We learn in her intro that she is a witch who has learned black magic to be a stone cold killer. Yes, that's seriously what happens in the movie. We even see her use her spells to lull a cop long enough for our villain to murder her. And then that's it. We never see her use this power ever again. Even at the finale, when she comes face to face with Lowry and Marcus, she never bothers to try and use any of her spells to get one up on them. It felt like a plot point entirely conceived so that Marcus can make jokes about it to Lowry once he learned of Lowry's connection to her. Always use a condom when banging a witch, Lowry, you know this! As is natural for any franchise these days, one last ride is never one last ride, and a mid-credits scene sets up the future of the Bad Boys franchise. But surprisingly, I'm okay with that. I haven't seen the first two Bad Boys in probably over a decade, and while I remember liking the first and hating the second, this one had me pleasantly surprised, and I for one wouldn't at all mind getting a Bad Boys 4, as long as they keep Michael Bay far away from it. Now, all in all, Bad Boys 3 is a fun time at the movies. It's not going to win any awards, and you'll probably forget about it a few days after seeing it, but it was nonetheless an enjoyable action cop movie, a genre we don't get too much of these days, so even a mediocre one is better than none at all. I'm going to give Bad Boys for Life 3 stars. Thanks for listening. I hope to have up more reviews soon, and until next time, we'll see you at the movies.